This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome into another Sunday live stream with your boys here. My name is Truck. You can find me at fantasy_trucker. And then, of course, we got Shane O'Mac here at S_McCormick_FF. I haven't said that in a long time, have I, Shane?
No.
Well, anyway, we are here today talking week 13. Sunday start sits, last minute changes in your lineup. If you guys need to make them, if you guys got any questions, feel free to fire them off. But before we do that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, help out the podcast, help out the boys. We really appreciate it. Shane, how you doing? Beautiful Sunday morning.
Man, doing well. Finished off all the Thanksgiving leftovers. So now I'm ready for what's left over in your lineups in week 13 after the Thursday, Friday games. So
Nice. Ryan, good morning. Welcome in. Shane, what do you do with your leftovers? Do you just eat the plate like normal, like if it was Thanksgiving?
Yeah. I don't do any weird concoction things. It's just next day, next night.
Come on.
Just
So you're telling me you don't go to the store and get a French roll, and you don't put the turkey. You get a French roll, okay? So French bread, right?
Yep.
You got to hollow it out a little bit. Put on a layer of mashed potatoes. Put on some turkey, a little bit of gravy on there, okay? And then you put on some green bean casserole. You put on some stuffing. Close the bread. Drizzle a little more gravy on there. You got a nice little Thanksgiving sandwich.
Oh my gosh, I've never tried that. No.
Well, you do it basically when you talk about when you're eating your plate anyway. So, you know what I mean? Just add in the bread there. It's the same difference. It is delicious.
Wow.
If you tried it. So,
okay.
Ryan, we got a question here already. Start Herbert or pick up Stafford or Stroud? By the way, I have Collins. Okay. So he's thinking about picking up Collins to go with the stack with Stroud. Love that matchup. Stroud is going to have a big game, but is he going to have a bigger game than Justin Herbert or Matthew Stafford? I think all three of these options are really good. Herbert's been on a tear lately, but Stroud was on our green light list change. So what do you make of this question?
Yeah, I think I like Stroud a little bit better. You're right. These are both good matchups. Like what I like about Stafford is not talked about him this week is this is the first time I think since week 1 he has all 5 starting offensive linemen back playing. That's big. That said, I do like Stroud a little bit better against this Jacksonville defense. They give up the most passing yards per game this year to quarterbacks. Now, New Orleans is not that far behind them. They're, I think, the 3rd or 4th worst. But I just think I like Stroud just a tick more. I think we've seen him the last couple of weeks get a little bit better. They look better with Nico Collins. It's a slight lean for me for Stroud.
Yeah, well, for me, Stroud's due, right? Stroud is due for a pickup. It looks cold in Chicago. Yeah, okay, so, fully transparent. Left my headphones in the car overnight, so they're very cold, so I didn't want to put them on my ears, so I'm wearing the winter hat. But yes, it is frigid cold in Chicago right now. Let's see. It is 18 degrees in Chicago, Coles. What is it over there in Austin?
Nice.
Was it 60? Cool. 60 and sunny? What do you got over there in Austin, Texas? How cold is it by you? Is it super cold in Kansas?
No. It's not too bad. Yeah, no, it's like 40s yesterday.
It is constantly like sub 20 right now in Chicago. Yeah. So, it is cold. I think we're both on the Stroud train. I think Stroud's due for a breakout. I think he's due for a big game after having a subpar season so far. So.
Yep. And I think what helps that game just a little bit, not much, but at least you get on the other side, Trevor Lawrence back playing for Jacksonville. So maybe they keep that game a little bit closer than if it was Mac Jones playing for them.
Absolutely. Those AFC South games are so strange, that like any game, like just like this one where Jacksonville could very much keep this close. So Brian Thomas Jr., fully healthy, ready to go. So should be a good game in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I have a beanie a lot like that. Mine isn't Carhartt though. Yeah, working in a union, I get a discount at Carhartt. By the way, if anybody out there works in a union, you get an automatic 25% off at Carhartt.
Oh.
Fun. Not too many people know that. They don't advertise it, but the more you know.
Yeah, that's what I always see, like in the cold weather games, like in Kansas City, people always have the Carhartt overhauls. That's like a staple of cold weather
Carhartt
watching.
overalls. I got a pair too. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
They make good stuff, good product, good company. All right, Ryan. Bills, Commanders, Bucks, or Colts today? I'm leaning Bills as the cold could stiffen up Purdy. Bucks have a nice schedule coming up. So who do you think? You're asking who's going to win these games?
I think he's thinking, who's he want to start
defense?
for defense? Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So what do you think, Shane? Defense.
I'm probably leaning. I would probably go with what your first intuition was, Ryan. I would go. I think Bills in that cold weather game against a less than 100% Brock Purdy. And honestly, like all it could take is one tackle, one hit on Purdy on that throwing shoulder, and he could be done for the game.
Yep.
And then it's going to be really bad. So yeah, I would lean Bills for this week, but you are right. The Bucks do have some nice matchups coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the Colts and Commanders today, Colts taking on the New England Patriots, Commanders taking on the Titans. Not great offenses there, but yeah, I agree. Buffalo seems like a good play. I can't wait to see that game. I want to see how bad the weather is going to be.
Yeah. So what I was reading, I was looking at it last night because I'm always curious about the weather games. And so it's supposed to be massive snowfall all throughout the day. They did say, though, by like kickoff, it should be less snow kind of stopping. So they should have it plowed. So I don't think it's going to be too bad once the game starts. But leading up to it's going to be a mess.
I hope it's chaos. I hope it's going to be like the biggest snowfall. But you're right. Buffalo's really good at managing the snow. You know what I mean? They're used to it over there. So hopefully they get it under control. Coles, flex Schultz, Haskins, Jerome Ford, full PPR. I'm going Schultz. I mean, this game is going to be a great game with Houston. I think Schultz can get involved over Haskins and Jerome Ford. Shane, do you agree, or would you rather go Haskins or Jerome?
For me, it's between Ford and Schultz, and I'd probably lean Schultz there. I picked up Haskins in one of my leagues, deep leagues, for a flyer, but I'm not expecting too much. I really think it's going to be a Vidal. We're going to see some more action from him. So yeah, I would agree with that. I'd go with Schultz.
Yeah. Should I treat my wench to a pint? What's up, Frank the Dank? Yeah, you should definitely treat your wench to a pint. Cheers. All right, flex Warren, Gus Bus, or Cooper, full PPR. This is a great question. I believe this is this our BML league calls? Jaylen Warren, Gus Bus, or Amari Cooper. I think at first I was on the Warren train, but Gus Edwards in Atlanta probably has a better opportunity to score a touchdown. And Amari Cooper, I don't know. Is that weather going to be too bad for Amari Cooper?
Yeah, I'm not firing up Cooper in first game back, weather, all of that.
Both leagues we co-own together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I knew that.
So that's worrisome for me. And who we look at? Warren. Warren was the other one.
Yeah, Jaylen Warren or Gus Edwards then.
Yeah, here's the thing about Warren. Like, you're probably not going to get a touchdown out of Warren. All you're getting from Warren is a floor. You're getting a floor of probably 8 to 10 fantasy points.
I was just going to say that. Yep. I agree.
So I think I'm going to lean Gus on this. I just think he's the higher upside to get. If they get within the 5 or shorter, I think he's the automatic play in there. So you get one score. You're probably looking at max out of 60 yards, but 2 scores could be possible. So
yeah. All right, Mr. Magic, what's going on? JSN over DK full PPR. I was just looking at this, and I think it is JSN over DK full PPR. Shane, do you want to elaborate on that? I think you feel the same way.
Yeah, I do too. I love a couple of things. Like just JSN over the last 3 weeks has been the number one target person, number one catch. I mean, number one fantasy, anything receiving wise, he has been. DK, I was looking at his numbers, and it's like his target volume has been low the last 4 weeks. It is not getting a lot of targets. The last time he played against Sauce Gardner, I mentioned it on our show, 1 catch, 3 yards. Sauce Gardner's not going to be in the slot with JSN. He's going to be outside on DK. So, yes, I would go JSN over DK this week.
Yeah, I agree. The JSN is just outshining him right now. Looks really good. Great route runner. And DK should get that shadow today between Sauce. So, JSN, I can see him having a big game. Do you see Vidal having being more of a better play out of the backfield moving forward in PPR? Shane, didn't you just mention that?
Yeah, I would want to stash Vidal in most leagues. Yeah, I think I don't remember what week was it, like week 2 or something this year. I just remember like the wheel route touchdown he had. Nobody else in that backfield can catch the ball. Gus Edwards can't.
Yeah.
Haskins can't. It's Vidal is the only one that can. So, I definitely want to stash him and see what kind of work he gets. But I think he will get. He'll get all the receiving work.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of all 3 of them today. Just the Chargers like to run the ball. And it's not all going to be Gus. So I think Haskins gets a lot of work too. But Kamani Vidal, better pass catcher, PPR, All right, think Barkley can get the rushing record this season. I do. I wonder what his what's his pace right now.
Yeah, it's going to be between. I mean, it's him and he's still, I think, a little bit behind Henry. It's him and Henry. I think it's going to be a tough rushing day for him today, playing against Baltimore, one of the top rushing defenses. But after that, I think schedule lightens up. So, I mean, just what he's got going for him is he can pop any of those 70-yard runs at any point in time, like he did twice last week.
Yeah, he's his pace right now is 21:51.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think he gets it. I think he does. He looks really good. It's going to be tough sledding today against Baltimore.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but I mean, we've seen him. He's the best running back in the league right now. So, I think he's kind of matchup proof. Jaylen Warren, anytime touchdown, plus 270, Gus plus 135. So the market is saying Gus has a better chance to score a touchdown, twice as good. Yeah, they kind of, it's right along with what we were talking about.
Yep.
Gus Edwards over Jaylen Warren. Adam Thielen or Brian Thomas Jr. Thomas may get shadow coverage by Derek Stingley. Adam Thielen, we saw him catching passes last week, being relevant again. So I'm still going Brian Thomas Jr. over Adam Thielen. I even with the coverage, I think Brian Thomas is the better receiver right now, and I would trust him more than Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I think he's just that much better of a player. Thielen, I think, was only 3 catches, 30 yards last week in his first game back. Even in that last game, so before the bye, even with Mac Jones at quarterback, Brian Thomas Jr. still had 15 PPR points. So think about that is the worst case scenario. He had 15 PPR points. I mean, that's probably the ceiling of what you would get from Adam Thielen in this game. You would hope for 15 PPR points. So, yeah, BTJ.
Yep, BTJ all day. Dobbins won't be back till fantasy championships if I make it there. Yeah, if he's back that week, right? That's when he's eligible to return. But, hopefully you get there, buddy. Hopefully you do. Do you see Aaron Jones or Hawk having good games today? Minnesota's playing Arizona. They're in Minnesota. Yeah, I like Minnesota today. Arizona's defense is not very good. And Minnesota is, they're 9-2 right now?
Yeah.
So I would imagine everybody on Minnesota, I would be fine plugging any one of them in my lineup. I think Jordan Addison is a sneaky good play today as well. He's great in the red zone. But do you agree, Shane, Aaron Jones?
Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson?
Yeah, I think I think Aaron Jones last week was a great game. I think he was like 115 yards, 20 carries or something. And then Hawkinson, I think Hawkinson in today's tight end landscape, he's just a set it and forget it tight end. Like most weeks, you're going to get enough target volume, I think, from him.
Yeah, I agree. Nix or Darnold? Oh, man. Nix or Darnold? We were just talking about Darnold with Minnesota. We think they're going to have a good game against Arizona. Bo Nix is Monday night at home against Cleveland Browns. Nix has been great lately. I think I'm going to ride the hot hand with Nix and go Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I'd go Knicks. I just like also the rushing upside production he's been giving you. He's always got that ability to give you 3-4 points of rushing yards, and then maybe even a rushing score. So
Yeah.
I'd go with Knicks as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go Knicks. All right. Did you hear Arizona's coach say that they will get the ball to Harrison today? I think that hurts McBride coming off a huge week. No, I don't think so. I think McBride is safe as it gets. He's the number one target for Kyler Murray. It is encouraging to hear that they're going to get the ball to Harrison today. This is a great matchup. Minnesota is allowing the fifth most receiving yards to wide receivers. It's a great matchup for Marvin Harrison today. I think he could get it done. Shane had him on the green light list. Was that your shocker of the week or no?
Yeah, I had him on the green light start. I think, and he's right. Like he's only had 10 catches in his last 3 games, so I don't think it's going to be enough. You can get Marvin Harrison Jr. more targets without hurting McBride. When you're only averaging like 3 targets a game or 3 catches a game, you can do both of those. So
I saw a stat. Minnesota's allowing the most passing attempts for quarterbacks on a per game basis. So Kyler's going to be throwing the ball a lot, and McBride's safe. So I think Harrison gets a nice bump today, though.
Yeah.
McBride hasn't seen the end zone at all, so I think he's going to score today. Yeah, he's due. I mean, he's due. What we were laughing about it last year at the end of the season. He had like 1 or 2 touchdowns, and we were saying, man, if he can just find the end zone, he can, be cemented as a top 3 tight end. But yet again, we have another season where he just can't find the end zone. So,
and just for clarification, he has seen the end zone. It was just on an end around rush. He has not had a receiving touchdown. But
okay.
Yeah. But also,
Fair
like
enough.
I have seen, including last week in Seattle, like three very specific instances of Kyler Murray missing him wide open in the end zone. Like It's gonna happen. I mean, it'll happen.
Yeah, maybe today's the day, Mr. Magic. Maybe today's the day. Is there any way the Niners win tonight? I mean, yeah, of course. Any given Sunday, any team can win. Buffalo's really hot right now, and it's in Buffalo, cold weather game, so I'm not banking on it. I would be betting on the Buffalo Bills to win the game. But, of course, the 49ers could win the game. They are still without Trent Williams and Nick Bosa, correct?
Yeah. Yep. They will not be playing for sure. That's the Trent Williams loss is the biggest for me.
Yeah. So maybe the answer is no. Maybe the answer is no. They cannot win tonight. But yeah, of course, any given Sunday, any team can win. Carlos, morning, fellas. What's going on? Welcome in. Pollard or JT PPR? I mean, Pollard to me has one of the better matchups, but JT has a good matchup as well. This is a tough question. I love Pollard today, so I'm like inclined to say Pollard, but Jonathan Taylor is the better running back. He has just as good of a matchup, if not better, against the Patriots. The only problem for me is that red zone rushing, right? We saw Anthony Richardson get a red zone rushing touchdown last week. So I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm going Pollard over JT. I don't feel great about it. I think both options are great. I don't think you go wrong with either one, but I'm gonna go Pollard.
Yeah, I agree. Like I like the matchup, and I tweeted about Jonathan Taylor this week. And I've got him in probably 3 different leagues, and so I'm concerned. Like 3 out of his last 4 games, he's been at like 3.6 yards per rush or less.
Yep.
He's been at 57 yards or less in those games. 0 touchdowns in his last 4 games, and then since Anthony Richardson is back. Like there has been no receiving targets. Like he's had 2 targets and only 1 catch in his last 3 games with Richardson back. And like, there just isn't much for him. Like Richardson's taking more of the goal line looks. It's just not a lot of room for him running the ball. So even with Tyjae Spears back, I still like Pollard in this matchup.
Yeah, same. Kyler or Jaden Daniels? Kyler's got a great matchup. We were just talking about it. Minnesota gives up the 5th most receiving yards. Good matchup, and this should be a tough game, so he should be throwing the ball a lot. Jaden Daniels, on the other hand, is taking on Tennessee. Tennessee is one of the best defenses in the league. So just matchup alone, like I would be very weary about Jaden Daniels. He hasn't been playing as good as he was early on in the season, so he's trending downward. Kyler Murray is the right play today, in my opinion. I'd be going Kyler Murray over Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I agree. Tennessee's giving up less than 170 yards passing per game. I think this is kind of a lower scoring game, and I think Arizona could be chasing points. So higher upside with Kyler.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Chase Brown or Tony Pollard, PPR. It's Pollard for me. Chase Brown's taking on the Steelers today. Steelers are a really tough defense. You know, we talk about it every week. It's really hard to run the ball against the Steelers. Chase Brown still finds a way to get it done. He finds the end zone when he shouldn't. He's in the passing attack. So I do like Chase Brown. I'd be fine playing him today. But if my options are Pollard or Chase Brown, I'm going Pollard.
I'm starting Brown. I'm going to probably go Brown. I wanted to look, because I had the same thought as you did earlier this year when Brown was playing the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And like they shut him down in the running game, but then I think he ended up like, I don't remember what it was he did. And, he had a decent receiving day and to get to like, I think 15, 16 PPR points. That's a close one, but I probably just the production he could get in the receiving game. I'll probably be a slight lean to Brown.
That was Baltimore week 5. He went 12 for 46 on the ground.
Okay.
3 catches for 8 yards in the air, but he did score a receiving touchdown.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. Like even in these tough matchups, he can find the end zone. So I'd be fine playing him, but I'm sticking with Pollard personally. But I can understand why. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals are their offense is just rolling right now. So tough matchup against the Steelers, but Chase is good enough to get it done. Hurts over Jaden Daniels with Devontae Smith out. Yes. Hurts all day over Jaden Daniels. Hurts is taking on Baltimore. Baltimore, we talk about it every single week. They're giving up the most passing yards, the most passing touchdowns, basically the most everything to quarterbacks. It is one of the better matchups you can have in the NFL for quarterbacks. And Jalen Hurts, gets it done in the air and on the ground and could get a rushing touchdown. So I am 100% confident going Hurts over Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I agree. You could see, I just think probably it's tough to say this the way Barkley's playing, but Baltimore probably is going to shut down that rushing attack. So I think you'll see a lot more pass attempts for Hurts than what we have seen in the last 3 weeks.
Absolutely. I agree. And maybe more scrambles too, because they get to the quarterback. So
yeah.
Addison or London? London's bad matchup against the Chargers, but London is that type of receiver that can still get it done. He can still catch 6 for 50, and you should be happy that he's in your lineup. Addison going against Arizona. Addison, like I said, is a sneaky good play today, but I think I'm still going London over Addison. But, I'm not 100% confident in that because, to me, Addison is just as good of an opportunity to score touchdowns as London does.
Yeah, I think I'd go with London. I was encouraged before the bye against his game against the Dolphins where it was a lot of Patrick Surtain coverage. I think he still ended up with like 13, 14 PPR points.
The Broncos?
Against the Broncos before the bye. I think when I was looking, 20 targets in his last 2 games for London. So I like London in this game, even against the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Think the Bengals can sneak into the playoffs. I mean, they do it every year, right? They start off slow and they end up winning enough games to sneak into the playoffs and do some damage in the playoffs. I mean, they only have 4 wins. They're playing the Steelers today, who they have 9 wins, 10 wins. What's their?
I think they're 8
wins. 8 and 2, 8 and 3 or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, they're up against it. They're at home, divisional matchup. I think the Bengals do get the win today and get to 5 wins at the end of the week, but they're going to need to – what's their schedule?
So they've got – I was going to say, if they win this week, they've got a chance because I think they've got Dallas the week after.
Dallas week 14?
I think they got Dallas coming up, so that
they do in Dallas.
So I think this is the must win. If they
at Tennessee.
Yep. So I think it's if they win this week, they would have a chance.
At home against Cleveland in week 16.
Yeah, so the schedule sets up nicely for them.
Interesting. And then they have Denver. That's going to be a tough game. Week 17.
This
Denver.
is the win, though. I think that this is the must win because you're going to be fighting.
And then Pittsburgh, week 18. This is tough. This is a tough schedule down the stretch. So, I mean, of course, I'm not going to count out Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They can easily win out the rest of the season and make it into the playoffs. Is it probable? No. Right?
If they win this week, it's possible. If they lose, there's no way.
Yeah, of course. Yes, they have to win today. It's a must-win game. Addison or Tank Dell? Addison or Tank Dell? I mean, Addison last week against Chicago, 9 targets, 8 catches, 162 yards, and a touchdown. He has a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 weeks. I mean, how do you go away from that against Arizona?
Yeah, I know it's and for me, like I like Addison the way he's been. There's been so much attention on Justin Jefferson that Addison is getting a lot of open looks. A lot of the middle of the field's opened up for him. Tank Dell to me is a little bit like Jameson Williams in Detroit. Like he is so reliant on the big plays. Like you're only getting like 3, maybe 4 catches a game out of him with Nico Collins now back 100%. And so much work is going to Joe Mixon. So I'm going to lean Addison based off of what is opening up for him. His catches, I think he's got a higher floor for catches than Tank Dell does in PPR league.
Yeah, I agree. Carlos, I also do have Ladd starting over Terry McLaurin and Ridley. What do you guys think PPR? This is a good one here. Ladd McConkey has just been nuclear lately. Just someone that you can't sit. However, Terry McLaurin, after starting hot, he has a big play abilities, right? He's got those explosive plays where he can get at any play, he can get a 60-yard touchdown. Calvin Ridley's been really good lately as well. I mean, where are you going here, Shane? Because I feel like I'm going Ladd.
Yeah,
Ladd's the right play, right?
Yeah, I have Ladd over him. I think it's 6 catches in the last 2 weeks for Ladd. I think the Chargers. I could see the Chargers being down in this game. This is just tough. This is just a tough matchup for Washington against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And even if you look at what they did against Dallas, like McLaurin did not do anything against Dallas until Dallas completely blew that coverage, like with a minute left in the game, and gave up an 80-yard touchdown pass to him that was just so fluky. But without that catch, he was heading towards another single-digit game, which would have been, two bad games in a row.
Yeah. Yep. Ladd McConkey it is, buddy. Is Mike Williams worth a roster spot down the stretch? I think he is. I think he's worth a roster spot. If you look at that offense, that wide receiver depth, there's not much there after George Pickens. You got Calvin Austin. But to me, Mike Williams has big playability, and Russell Wilson loves to throw deep. So I think he's definitely worth a roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, you probably need to know, like, who else, if it's you're wanting to stash somebody, or if you need this is type of the year where you maybe want to handcuff one of your guys that you need to, then I could see that. But if it's just somebody at the end of the roster spot, then yeah, I think you'll probably see a little bit more targets heading his way now that he's had a couple weeks of integration into the offense.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at it, Tennessee at Washington. Can you guess what that spread is?
I'm going to guess Washington by 3.
6.
Ooh, that's higher.
Washington -6.
But especially the way Tennessee has played the last couple weeks.
Like, what is this line?
Yeah, that's
I want to
interesting.
take Tennessee +6.
That is interesting. The way Tennessee has played.
They've been playing great. They've been covering being in games they shouldn't be in. So, all right, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to fire them off. We're going to talk about the slate a little bit Quick question. Who wins today between Eagles and Ravens? This has to be game of the year so far, possibly. I mean, there's been a lot of really good games so far this year. This does have potential to be the game of the year. Absolutely. I personally like Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the more complete team right now. Although Baltimore is able to win any game that they play. It's in Baltimore. But to me, with Philadelphia's running attack, their offensive and defensive lines, and not to mention their defensive secondary that's been one of the best over the last 4 weeks, I'm going Philadelphia. Baltimore's favored by 3 points right now.
Yeah, I think Baltimore wins. I think in Baltimore, it's hard for me to see them losing at home. I think they take away a strength, taking away Barkley. They get their stud linebacker back, Roquan Smith. He's back playing. I think that's a big, huge lift. So I think they end up winning.
Yeah. Hawkinson or Juwan Jennings in the flex? What's up, Tone? Welcome in. Hawkinson or Juwan Jennings? I'm going to go Hawkinson.
Yeah, I like Hawkinson. Like, he's coming off, I think, 16, 17-point game last week against the Bears. I don't like much in that San Francisco game tonight with Purdy so iffy. And you saw what happened.
9 targets in 2 of the last 3 games.
Yeah, I think he's coming on. Juwan Jennings in a cold, blustery game where Purdy is not 100%, or he gets possibly knocked out of the game again. We saw what it was like without Purdy last week, so I'd go Hawkinson.
Yeah, I agree. I do like Juwan Jennings, though. 11 targets, 7 targets. Like, I mean, although that wasn't with Purdy. So, all right, yeah, we'll see. Okay, let's talk about the games real quick. The Chargers at Falcons. Chargers are favored by 1 point on the road, over under 47.5. I think this has to be a sneaky good game. Obviously, I like the Chargers. I think they're the better team. But are they good enough to go into Atlanta and beat the Falcons? I'm going to say yes. I think the Chargers win.
I think this is coming out of the bye. I like the Falcons in this game. I like the Chargers as a team, but Falcons at home, off a bye, I think they do enough to get the win.
Okay. All right. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Y'all winning? Yeah, we winning. We winning, B Cork. How you doing, buddy? Welcome in.
It's been a hot minute, B Cork.
It's been a hot minute. Where the hell you been, B Cork? All right. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's favored by 3 at home. 46.5 over under. This is a must win for Cincinnati. I think they get it done today.
Anytime I see Mike Tomlin and points in an interdivision game, I'm going to take Pittsburgh and points. It's just, he has just been, for the most part, in most games, if he is given points, he usually that team comes up top. So I'd take Pittsburgh and the points.
Yeah, Pittsburgh and the point. I mean, Tomlin, anytime he gets points, It's the holidays, fellas. Yeah, I know you're probably busy, buddy. We get it. No problem. But good to see you, B Cork. All right, Arizona at Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 3.5 at home. Over under is 44.5. This is a weird game to me. I feel like it can go either way. Arizona's good enough to win the game, but I think Minnesota ultimately wins the game and improves to what would this make them 10-2?
Yeah, I believe so.
Jeez.
Yeah. I would not want to bet on Arizona in any week, in any game. They're so Jekyll and Hyde. I think we talked about it last week. Like, you don't know what they're going to do. They can go into Miami and San Francisco and win. And then they can go to Seattle last week and only put up 6 points. I don't know what to make of them in any given week, honestly.
Coles is saying the Steelers 62% against the spread in this spot. So 62% of the time they cover in this position.
I'd say anytime you get Tomlin points, interdivision, take it.
What are your top 3 candidates for the Bears job? Ooh, wow. Okay. All right. So I've seen the list everywhere, right? Ben Johnson is at the top. I also see Joe Brady. I I saw Adam Rank, a big Bears fan. He goes out and shares his thoughts, and he compares Ben Johnson a lot to Matt Nagy, which I think is not a good comparison, right? Matt Nagy never called the plays in Kansas City. He was just coming from a great offense. Ben Johnson has a proven track record of calling an offense, a top 5 offense over the last 2 years. My best solution to this would be Ben Johnson. Okay. I would be happy with Joe Brady, but I also really want Mike Vrabel. Okay. A little bit of a dark horse in the race. I think Mike Vrabel would bring that hard-nosed Chicago Bears football back to Chicago, create a nice culture, and just kind of set us up for the future. So I would love Mike Vrabel, but I would also like Ben Johnson, Joe Brady. I think would be great hires as well.
And then the report this morning was expect the Bears to have interest in Kingsbury, Cliff Kingsbury, which is I know the connection with Caleb Williams is why it is. I think there are some people who are best suited as coordinators and not head coaches. And I think Kingsbury is one of those guys where he's a great coordinator. I don't know if I want him as a head coach.
So answer the damn question. Rank top 3. It's Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Joe Brady. In my eyes, I want those 3 in that order. I would want those 3 in that order. Good morning, Porter. Boys. Yeah. Truck, your Bears suck. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? Last 3 games, okay, it's not been the team that sucks, okay? Bad situational football, muffed punts, blocked kicks, poor time management. The fact that they brought the teams in the division, which we are the best division in football, the fact that they brought all 3 of those teams down to a 1-possession game at the very end of the game where they had the opportunity to win the game, that alone says that they don't suck. So you can say what you want. I view it differently, and the past 3 games definitely put it in the perspective for me. Yeah. Is it the coach? Yeah, it was the coach.
Yeah, 100%. It's just so many over the games that you look at, like not having them prepared for the Hail Mary, not seeing like the one that really got me, and I think I texted you, Truck, and at the time, like was the blocked field goal was they were so conservative the 2 plays before, like they weren't trying to get 5-7 more yards to make it closer. Like, Santos cannot kick long, and he has to kick low trajectory on long field goals. They're just, it's coaching.
Yeah. Coaching, play calling, situational football, time management, all of it. I said somewhere that, I don't know if it was on stream, but the last 3 games have been the best possible outcome for the Bears. Okay. I don't think they're going to be able to make a push in the playoffs. So I don't want them winning any more games. I'd rather them lose the rest of the games, have a top 5 pick next year with a new coach and a new system, and bring it in and start it fresh. What was great from those 3 games is highlighting how terrible Matt Eberflus is, which has ultimately resulted in him getting fired. But also with those 3 games, showing that they can compete with some of the best teams in football, and show that we're only a step away from being a great team. So, I'm cool with the outcome from the last 3 games. Shane, what's the weather in Buffalo, New York? Is it going to be like Cleveland Browns game?
So I don't think it's going to be snowing from what I've seen this morning. The reports are once the game gets snowing, we shouldn't expect in-game huge snow like we did see in that other game. So, but I would still take the kickers out of it. I would not be starting Brock Purdy. Fire up. I mean, please, nobody be benching Josh Allen because of potential weather.
Oh, God, no.
Don't do that. So I don't think there's a lot of like people you're sitting besides kickers and Brock Purdy in this game. I think they will probably, it's going to be maybe slippery, but I think they're going to have the field cleared. If it stops snowing by kickoff, which is what they're projecting right now, around 7:30, 7:45, I don't think we'll see the same concerns.
Yeah, that's fair. Schefter said this morning the Bears will retain Ryan Poles, who is going to look for a leader of men. To me, that points towards Vrabel. Who knows? Yeah, I think that would be great. I still have trust in Ryan Poles. Okay, I don't think that he was the problem, but he's definitely made some questionable decisions, but he's also made some great decisions for the team. So I'm fine giving him another opportunity. And I do think the Bears are just a coach away from being a great team. And then Ryan Poles will be praised. He's drafted great players. So I'm fine keeping Poles. I'm okay with that decision. And if he's looking for a leader of men, I agree. That point towards Vrabel. So if the Bears get Mike Vrabel, that will be a great day in Chicago. I will be on live stream. You guys want to join that one? That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think the guy who, if he didn't have a lawsuit going on right now against the NFL, I think he would be talked about a lot more as a head coaching candidate, and even in Chicago. And that's Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator in Minnesota. I think with the lawsuit he still has pending against the NFL from what happened to him earlier, I don't think you're going to see teams bring him in as a head coaching candidate, but I think that's the type. The other guy maybe you would look out for that maybe they bring in is Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator in Detroit, because of the way that culture and that defense has been turned around over the last 2 or 3 years. So, yeah,
I would not be happy with that hire though. Bears need to go offensive, or a guy like Vrabel that can really rally the boys. I don't want to bring in another defensive coordinator. I'm not about that.
No,
if Mike goes to you guys, I think you guys make the playoff. I agree. I'd be great. Micah in a Bears jersey sounds nice. Yeah. Micah Parsons to the Bears sounds real nice.
Hey, give us three first rounders and I'd go for it. I'm not even
whatever
joking.
it is. I'm fine giving it. I don't care. I think Micah Parsons on that defense, along with Montez Sweat, it's a recipe for success. So I'm fine giving away draft capital for Micah Parsons. I think he would.
Ryan Poles, you heard it here first. 3 first-round draft picks. Go talk to Jerry.
I don't know if it's 3 first, but whatever it is, I'd be fine with that trade. I don't care what we give up for him. So, all right, let's run through these games a little bit more. We got the Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots. Indianapolis is favored by 2.5 on the road. Over under is 42.5. This is a game that can go either way. We've seen the Patriots hang in games or late in games score some points to make it close. So Colts are not a good enough team where I think they automatically win this game. 2.5 points on the road doesn't seem right to me. So I'd be fine taking Patriots plus 2.5 at home.
Yeah, I think the Colts are struggling. I think Patriots at home could win. Anthony Richardson, you just don't know what you're going to get. So,
yeah. Truck, you would get fleeced as a GM. Yeah, probably. I would see Micah Parsons on the trade block and be like, what do you want for him? 3 first? Boom, done. Here you go. Welcome to the team. Yeah, I would definitely get fleeced as a GM. That's why I'm not an NFL GM.
3 first-round picks, make it happen.
Yeah.
Come on.
So you think the Patriots could win this game?
Yeah, I think they could. I think they could win it straight out. I mean, and taking points. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Seattle Seahawks at New York Jets. The Jets are favored by 1 at home. Over under is 41.5. I believe it is the lowest over under of the week. Same as Denver, Cleveland. But I mean, how does Seattle not win this game? The Jets are just terrible right now.
They are. You got Tyrone Smith, their starting offensive tackle, got put on IR. He's done for the year. I like Seattle. This is I like this head coach they've got that they brought in from Baltimore. I think he's brought something to this team. Seattle, I know, is tough to trust on the road, but the Jets are just a free for all right now.
Ryan, worried about the wind for the Jets game today? What's the wind looking like, Shane?
I honestly, since we have been on, I haven't got to be watching any of the weather reports from the guys I follow on Twitter to see what that is like. I know the East Coast is colder, so I'm trying to think who you'd be starting in that Jets game. I don't think you'd be starting in their kicker. Hopefully not. There's a lot better kicker options.
I mean, it looks like wind gusts of 18 miles an hour, right around 15 mile an hour winds. You know, it's not great, but I don't think it's detrimental to the passing game.
No, if you're just talking about passing game, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. He would fit in with the Bears negotiating against themselves like the Trubisky trade. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Coles. That is fair. All right, Tennessee Titans at Washington. Over-under is 44.5. Washington is favored by 6 at home. We talked about it earlier. I'd love the Tennessee Titans +6 today.
Yeah, that's what we did. Talked about it as well.
They keep games close and they're outperforming. Washington is not a powerhouse of an offense to take on this really good Tennessee defense. So I think Tennessee could win this game outright, but 6 points to me seems a bit egregious.
Yeah, real quick on slight news, just because I love kickers, and if you guys are starting Younghoe Koo, they did call up a kicker, a second kicker to put on their active roster. So I would not play Younghoe Koo today for Atlanta. Go get another kicker.
Your days are numbered, Younghoe.
Yeah,
your days are numbered.
Anyway,
Houston Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston is favored by 3.5 on the road. Over under is 44.5. Houston hasn't been playing great football, but Jacksonville's defense is abysmal. I like Houston even with the 3.5 points. Although it's a divisional game and the home team getting 3.5, usually not a good recipe for the favorites.
No, I agree though. I think Houston is they're looking at this like they can pretty much lock this division up with a win today and then Colts loss. Trevor Lawrence first game back in 3 weeks, so maybe he's a little rusty. I like Houston.
Yeah, fair. Los Angeles Rams taking on the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans at the Superdome. Rams are 2.5-point favorites on the road. Over-under is 49.5. Are we going to see another big game from our boy Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill, I think. If in the landscape of what's going on in New Orleans, and if we don't see Chris Olave back, and everything stays the same, I think Taysom Hill is a top 5 tight end the rest of the season. A set it and forget it guy.
You heard that, Coles? What do you think about that, Coles? Taysom Hill, top 5 tight end the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I mean it's hard to combat that with the way that he played last week.
Yeah, it's not only the rushing production, but the receiving production he got was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, man. It's weird. Younghoe Koo had such a great storyline coming in the NFL. That sucks for him, but Tucker has been off as well and has some heat. Will be interesting to see if kickers as a whole have less points this year. Kickers, it's been weird, man, because the kickers in the beginning of the year were just on fire. And then something happened where the great kickers that normally don't miss are missing kicks, missing field goals, missing extra points. Like it's been crazy lately. So I think Tucker's safe. I don't think he has some heat on him, but I mean, Tucker's one of the best kickers in the league. He's just having some off games. I think that's what that is. Disley or Pitts? I mean, how do you go away from Disley?
No, it's Disley.
How do he has such a high target share. I think it's a 25% target share over the last couple of weeks. Like, I mean, Disley has just been a steady guy for Justin Herbert. So Pitts is, hot and cold. Pitts has the big playability, but I think Disley has the higher floor. Pitts has the higher ceiling to me in my eyes. So I'm going to go with Disley though.
Yeah, it's Disley. Like 2 out of the last 3 games for Pitts, he's been 12 yards receiving or less. Yeah. So I think even in the floor, I think Disley may have the better floor. Like he's been, I think, over 50 yards the last 2 weeks. So
yeah. Cole, sounds like a perfect time for Taysom Hill's stock to plummet and go bankrupt like it does every year repeatedly without question.
Not now. Not with the conditions in New Orleans when you've got
I agree. Shane, I agree with you. With the conditions in New Orleans, the players that are injured, they see what's working with Taysom Hill, and I don't know if the Rams are going to be able to stop it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's what, along with the Micah Parsons trade, the Bears go after Taysom Hill next year. And boom, you're in the playoffs.
I'd be fine with it. What do you guys want for him? Let's make the trade. Oh, yeah, for sure. Right. You're totally right. Not this time. Rodgers or Drake May? Oh, God.
Oh, I think this is easy. I think this is Drake May all day. Indianapolis is like bottom 5 defense, like passing yards allowed. Drake May gives you the rushing production. Aaron Rodgers gives you none of that rushing potential.
True.
I just think I don't really want any part of much of the Jets offense outside of Breece Hall, maybe Garrett Wilson, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, Drake May. Drake May is the right answer. I agree. All right, so let's finish off the slate. We talked about did we talk about who do you think is going to win, Rams or Saints?
I think the Rams, like I said, they have all 5 starting offensive linemen back since week 1. That's a huge deal. I think it's a big day for them.
I agree. Tampa Bay at Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay is favored by 6.5 on the road. Carolina just took the Chiefs down to the last play of the game.
Yeah.
And now they're getting 6.5 points at home against Tampa Bay. I mean, do we what do we do here, man?
I don't. Yeah, I was shocked about that. I think I'm probably still leaning Tampa Bay. Mike, get Evans back, which is big. The 1-2 punch of Irving and White has been good.
But Bryce Young is playing. Bryce Young is playing like Bama Bryce, right? Calls Bama Bryce. I don't know. I still think Tampa Bay wins, but Carolina. I think Carolina was so interesting last week with the way they played against the Chiefs. Porter is 4-0 and Pick'em. Nicely done. Yeah, I mean Detroit, Dallas, Green Bay, Kansas City. Seems all like the right picks. So good job, good on you. 4-0. See if you can keep that up, Porter. Who you got today? All right, Philadelphia Eagles. We talked about this one a little bit at Baltimore. Baltimore is favored by 3 points. I'm taking Philly. I think Shane's taking Baltimore here.
Yeah, I'm taking Baltimore. Yep.
All right. Kenneth Walker or Terry McLaurin, full PPR. Ooh, this is interesting. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker here. At Washington. I'm sorry, not Kenneth Walker is at New York. The Jets defense. You can run on that defense. I'm just trusting Kenneth Walker. Terry McLaurin is a tough matchup against Tennessee. And, he's just that big playability. So maybe he gets that 70-yard bomb. He has been in the past, but Tennessee's defense is allowing the fewest. So I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker. Better matchup.
Yeah, I agree. And surprisingly, last week, I loved what we saw from Walker in the receiving game. It was 6 or 7 targets. He had 4 catches, over 50 yards. So he's helping out in the receiving game a little bit more now lately than what we saw earlier in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to be on for about 5 more minutes. So if you guys want to message in your questions real quick. If not, no big deal. Let's see. We got San Francisco at Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 6.5 points at home. That seems like a big spread. Brock Purdy's back. Although risk for re-injury, bad weather we've seen in the news. Over-under is 44.5. I think Buffalo continues their hot streak right now. I don't think, San Francisco being without Trent Williams and without Nick Bosa is such a big hit to that team. Even with Brock Purdy back, I don't think they're going to be able to beat Buffalo.
I agree. I think the other underrated aspect about Buffalo is they get Matt Milano back, which is a huge lift on the defense. So,
love to see that. So Buffalo 6.5 points though seems like a lot in this in a snowy weather game. So we'll see. Buffalo's the type of team that is going to dominate in that weather though. Bills, Seahawks, or Colts defense. I think we talked about this one a little bit. We like the Bills defense. Shane, do you like the Bills over the Seahawks and the Colts?
Yeah, I do. I like the Bills defense still, probably of those choices. Like I said, I think Purdy is going to be at less than 100%. Maybe he gets knocked out of the game, which could easily happen on that throwing shoulder. Then you get Allen in the game, which is a disaster. I just think of the weather conditions and everything. This could be a big game for Buffalo.
Absolutely. And thanks for your help. Hey, Gray Matter, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Every Sunday we are here live on YouTube and Twitter at 10 a.m. So make sure you join us every week. Even probably after fantasy football, I'm sure we'll still hop on talking football and answering questions, talking trends, and all the news and notes. So we have a good time doing this. We're glad that you guys are joining us and supporting the podcast. We appreciate it. Cleveland Browns last game, Monday Night Football at Denver Broncos. Denver is 6-point favorites at home. Over-under is 41.5. one of the lowest over-unders of the week. We've seen Cleveland kind of be hot and cold, right? But Denver's defense seems to me like way too good of a defense for Jameis Winston and the Browns to really do much. I mean, even Nick Chubb just hasn't really been Nick Chubb prior to the injury. So it's Denver all day, and I'm taking the 6 points too.
I think Denver wins. I think Denver's going to make the playoffs this year. This defense, I do not like Nick Chubb this week in fantasy. Denver's giving up less than 60 yards rushing in their last 3. I think it's a very tough game for that offense this week.
Absolutely. Coles, final week 14. Yes, this is the last week of the season. Big bye week. There are 6 teams on a bye. What are the 6 teams real quick? Let's see.
I know you had Commanders on there. You had
the Denver
Colts.
Broncos, Indianapolis Colts, New England Patriots, Washington Commanders, Baltimore Ravens, and the Houston Texans. So big teams on bye. It is the second bye apocalypse. So any tips on getting out of the field on ad drops to make the final week before playoff push? Shane, I know you've been talking about this on Twitter. What do you got for the people here?
I mean, there's different people. Like, I think if quarterback wise, like I'm sure Trevor Lawrence was dropped in a lot of leagues. I would look to pick him up. He's got some nice matchups coming up, including today, just in case if he's back to 100%. I'd look at him. Otherwise, I think probably
Stafford could be on the waiver wire. A lot of
Stafford would be big. Like we just talked about that with his offensive line back. So it's, Cedric Tillman, that's a wide receiver wise, like he's probably dropped. I don't think he misses a third game out of the concussion. So I'm not sure who he plays off the top of my head next week, but he could easily have been dropped and you can pick him back up. So off the top of my head, those the other guys, really for me, it's what I'm doing right now is if I'm fighting for a playoff spot, I'm looking at a second defense and playing matchups. So, I might be looking at somebody like Tampa Bay. Like Tampa Bay over the next 3 weeks, they've got the Raiders, the Chargers, the Cowboys, and then the Panthers after that. So like I'd go pick up Tampa Bay if you could. Now maybe they got picked up because they're facing the Panthers this week. But that's when I would look up. I think Arizona's got a really good schedule coming up for the fantasy playoffs. That would be another defense to look at. All
right. Well, there you have it. All right, guys, we are going to sign off and enjoy the Sunday and watch some football. Thank you all for joining. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys are the best. You make every Sunday worth it coming on. Check out our weekly episode. We got red light, green light every week for the fantasy playoffs coming up. Those usually are out Thursdays. But I hope everybody wins their matchups, clinches that playoff spot, and wins every bet today. So thank you all for joining. Shane, thank you. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next week.
Yep.
And other than that, buckle up, everybody.